The early morning sunlight filtered through the glass panes of a small, cozy bakery on the corner of a bustling street. The aroma of freshly baked bread and pastries wafted into the air, drawing the usual crowd of customers eager to grab their breakfast. Inside, Thomas, the bakery owner, moved with practiced ease, preparing for the day's rush. But something outside caught his attention. There, just beyond the shop window, sat a stray cat. Its fur was matted, its frame thin, and its large, piercing green eyes fixated on the inside of the bakery. For weeks now, Thomas had noticed the same cat sitting in the same spot every morning, staring intently but never approaching. Customers occasionally glanced at the feline, some commenting on its hauntingly beautiful eyes, but most paid little attention. At first, Thomas thought nothing of it. Stray animals were common in the city, but the cat's persistence started to intrigue him. Rain or shine, the feline was always there, unmoving, as if waiting for something. "What's your story, little one?" Thomas murmured one morning as he looked out the window. The days turned into weeks, and the cat's presence became a topic of quiet conversation among regulars. "Maybe it's hungry," a kind old woman suggested one day, placing her coffee cup down with a soft clink. Thomas nodded but hesitated. Feeding strays often led to them lingering, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to encourage that. Yet the cat's unwavering gaze gnawed at his thoughts. One chilly morning, as frost coated the window panes, Thomas decided to take action. He prepared a small saucer of milk and a piece of leftover bread. Stepping outside, he approached the cat slowly. "Here you go," he said, placing the offerings a few feet away from the feline. The cat's ears perked up, but it didn't move. It simply stared at him, unblinking. Puzzled, Thomas returned inside and watched. Hours passed, and the cat didn't touch the food. It just sat there, its eyes following every movement inside the shop. That evening, Thomas mentioned the cat to his friend Maggie, who ran the animal shelter down the street. "It's like it's trying to tell me something," he said over coffee. Maggie chuckled. "Maybe it is. Animals have their own way of communicating. Maybe there's more to this cat than meets the eye." The next day, Thomas decided to observe more closely. He started leaving the door slightly ajar, curious if the cat would come in. To his surprise, it didn't. Instead, it remained in its usual spot, gazing intently. Then, one evening, as Thomas was closing up, he noticed something he hadn't before. The cat's gaze wasn't just random, it was directed at a specific shelf inside the bakery. On that shelf sat an old wooden box, one that had been in the bakery since Thomas's father owned the place. "What on earth?" Thomas muttered, a shiver running down his spine. He retrieved the box, dusting it off. Inside were trinkets and mementos his father had kept. Among them was a small locket with a picture of a young boy and a cat with piercing green eyes. Thomas's breath caught in his throat. The resemblance was uncanny. His father had often spoken of a stray cat that used to follow him everywhere as a child, one he had to leave behind when his family moved. Could this cat be connected somehow? It seemed impossible, yet the idea lodged itself in Thomas's mind. That night, he placed the locket on the windowsill where the cat could see it. To his amazement, the feline approached for the first time. It sniffed the locket, then looked up at Thomas, its green eyes glistening with what seemed like recognition. The next morning, something unusual happened. As Thomas opened the bakery, the cat was not at its usual spot. Concerned, he looked around but found no trace of it. He spent the day distracted, glancing out the window between serving customers. By evening, his worry grew. Had the cat moved on? Had something happened to it? Just as he was about to close up, he heard a faint meowing outside. Rushing to the door, he found the cat waiting, but it wasn't alone. Beside it stood a smaller, equally scruffy kitten with the same piercing green eyes. The older cat nudged the kitten forward as if introducing it to Thomas. Thomas knelt down, his heart swelling with emotion. "So, you've been looking after this little one all along," he whispered. He brought out food and water for both of them, watching as the kitten eagerly ate while the older cat stood guard. The realization hit him. The older cat had been waiting outside the bakery, not for food or shelter for itself, but for the right moment to bring its kitten to safety. Over the following weeks, the bakery became a second home for the two cats. Echo, as Thomas named the older cat, and Ember, the kitten, quickly settled into their new surroundings. Thomas set up a small bed near the window where the two could bask in the sunlight. Customers grew fond of them, often stopping by just to see the duo. Children giggled as they watched Ember's playful antics, while Echo maintained a watchful eye. The cat's presence seemed to breathe new life into the bakery. Regulars who had once been reserved began sharing their own stories about animals they had loved and lost. One elderly man, Mr. Henderson, revealed how his late wife had adored cats, and seeing Echo and Ember brought back cherished memories. Another customer, a shy young girl named Lily, began visiting daily, finding solace in stroking Ember's soft fur. As the seasons changed, so did the bond between Thomas and the cats. On rainy evenings, Echo would sit by the door, as if keeping watch over the bakery. Ember, on the other hand, grew bolder, often darting around the shop and amusing customers with her mischievous behavior. Thomas couldn't help but laugh as she once knocked over a tray of cookies, earning a playful scold from him. One day, while cleaning the bakery, Thomas discovered an old journal belonging to his father. Flipping through its pages, he found an entry describing a stray cat that had comforted him during difficult times. "Sometimes it felt like the cat understood me better than anyone," the entry read. Thomas felt a deep connection to his father in that moment, as if Echo's arrival was a continuation of an unspoken bond. The bakery's popularity soared as word spread about Echo and Ember. People traveled from neighboring towns to meet the famous feline duo. Some brought donations, while others simply came to share a cup of coffee and watch the cats. A local artist even painted a mural of them on the bakery's wall, capturing Echo's wisdom and Ember's playful spirit. As winter approached, Thomas ensured the bakery was warm and welcoming for his furry companions. He installed a special cat door, allowing Echo and Ember to roam freely but always return to safety. One particularly snowy evening, as Thomas closed up for the night, he found Echo sitting by the locket on the windowsill. The sight filled him with a sense of gratitude and wonder. "You've changed my life more than you'll ever know," he whispered. Despite the bakery's newfound fame, Thomas never lost sight of what truly mattered: the connection he had forged with Echo and Ember. Their presence became a symbol of hope for everyone who visited, reminding them that even the smallest acts of kindness could lead to extraordinary change. As the years passed, Echo grew older, her movements slower but still filled with purpose. Ember, now a full-grown cat, had taken on some of her mother's watchful traits. Together, they continued to be the heart and soul of the bakery. And every morning, as sunlight streamed through the window, Thomas felt a deep sense of gratitude for the day a stray cat appeared outside his bakery, a day that forever altered the course of his life. The story of Echo and Ember became a legend in the town. It wasn't just about two cats in a bakery. It was a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the unspoken bond between humans and animals. And so, the small bakery on the corner remained not just a place for warm bread and pastries, but a beacon of warmth and compassion for all who entered.